In the tranquility of a July night in 2018, a loving and happy home was abruptly transformed into a graveyard for a once joyous couple. But as dawn broke, the unsettling question hung heavy. Was it a tragic accident? Or was someone's sinister hand at play in this heart-wrenching turn of events? Join us for today's episode of Dark Minds as we uncover what truly happened on the night that brought death to the lovely elderly couple, Alan and Carla Rutherford. Let's embark on the quest for the truth. In the serene neighbourhood of Greening Court lived the beloved elderly couple, Alan and Carla Rutherford, known for their kindness and warm hospitality. At 63 and 64 years old respectively, Alan and Carla were adored by everyone around them. They had gracefully settled into retirement after their children had started their own families. No one could have anticipated the tragic fate that awaited them. On the night of July 9th, 2018, as they peacefully slept in their one-storey home, tragedy struck without warning. Unbeknownst to anyone, flames began to engulf their home in the silent hours of the night. Karen Monk, a loving neighbour of Alan and Carla, was abruptly awakened by the sound of frantic banging on her front door. As she opened it, her heart sank at the sight of Alan Rutherford, her dear neighbour, nearly unrecognisable, naked and badly burned. Panic seized her as she took in the desperate plea for help from Alan, who was bleeding profusely and covered in burns. Her gaze swept past him to the neighbouring house, now engulfed in flames. Alan's words pierced through the chaos, pleading for his wife still trapped inside. Acting swiftly, Karen dialed 911, her voice trembling as she relayed the harrowing scene to the authorities.
Hamilton Fire Emergency.
Yes, we need everything, please.
Okay, what's the address?
I'm at 7 Greening Court. There must be...
Okay, what's the address?
I'm at 7 Greening Court, but it's next door.
It's 7 Greening Court?
Somebody firebombed, yes. Somebody firebombed my neighbor's house.
Okay, is it the neighbor next door, number 5, or the other one? 8?
I don't know if the...
Is it on fire?
Yes, there's smoke. The whole street is smoke. My neighbor's bleeding. He's covered in burns.
Once help was on the way, she turned to Alan, offering comfort amidst the chaos, and gently inquired if there was anyone he wished to contact, perhaps family or friends in this dire moment of need. Realising he had little time left and unable to save his wife, Alan summoned his remaining strength. Despite the agony of his burns, he revealed the harrowing truth. He couldn't save Carla, his beloved wife, but managed to disclose the grim reality of the murderer behind the insanity, leaving his neighbour paralysed with terror. Despite the swift response of firefighters and paramedics, Alan's injuries were too severe for survival. With 90% of his body burned, he passed away within 12 hours of being hospitalised. Meanwhile, firefighters entered the engulfed house to rescue Carla. They discovered her lying on the floor, suffering from burning injuries and severe bleeding. With urgency, they carried her out into the yard, intending to swiftly transport her for medical treatment. However, despite their immediate efforts, Carla's injuries proved too severe. Tragically, she passed away before any further assistance could be rendered, succumbing to the pain and burns she endured. But who could commit such an unthinkable crime against such a beloved couple? Was it truly an accident, or perhaps a burglar seeking money and gold? And Alan was the one who held the answers to all these burning questions. The most shocking revelation of all was that the perpetrator behind the tragedy wasn't a burglar, a serial killer, or the result of an unfortunate accident. It was someone they trusted deeply, someone they considered family for years. Karen's revelation of Alan's last words sent shockwaves through everyone. "Don't call Rich. He did this. He will already know about it." Carla Rutherford's son, Richard Taylor, seemed an unlikely suspect for such a heinous crime. As a respected Hamilton elementary school teacher residing in Oakville with his wife and 2 children, Taylor had built a solid reputation in the community. As the investigators and police dug deeper into the case, they scoured the scene of the crime for clues. Among their findings were clothes stained with petroleum and a matchbox discovered inside the bedroom of the couple. Then another shocking piece of evidence was revealed from a neighbour's CCTV footage. It captured someone entering Alan's gate around the time of the tragic incident, leaving hastily at 3:30 in the morning. Coupled with Karen's account, quoting Alan's last words, suspicion fell squarely on Richard. Investigators wasted no time in summoning him for questioning, determined to uncover the truth behind the tragic deaths of Alan and Carla. Taylor had sustained a knee injury from a fall in the basement of his home at Greening Court several days prior to the tragic events. During the interrogation, Taylor kept going on about how his injured knee made it impossible for him to have done anything he was accused of because he still struggled to walk or climb stairs without the aid of his cane.
Not that I'm like supplying them, but I don't know if I'm past like a dosage. You sound like you're
it's sore. That's all.
They've even found footage surfaced of Taylor entering and leaving the police station, seemingly in pain and using his cane. However, the investigation took a sudden turn when another video showed Taylor strolling through a market without any signs of discomfort before the time of the murder. To add fuel to the fire, receipts from his purchases included a matchbox, tying him directly to the scene of the crime. With these contradictory pieces of evidence, Taylor's alibi began to crumble, casting suspicion on his involvement in the tragic events. If Taylor is truly behind this, what drove him to commit such a heinous act? As investigators unearthed details about his financial situation, a possible motive began to crystallize. For years, he had concealed mounting debts, desperate to maintain the facade of financial stability. Faced with the risk of losing his home and the exposure of his deceit, Taylor resorted to drastic measures to alleviate his dire situation. In the end, the pieces of the puzzle fell into place, revealing a chilling truth. Taylor had committed the murder of his own mother and stepfather in a bid to inherit their insurance and property, hoping to escape from his overwhelming financial burdens. With cold calculation, Taylor poured the petroleum around the base of their bed while they slept, before fleeing the scene as the flames engulfed the once peaceful house. So, turns out Taylor's whole injured leg thing was just an act to throw off suspicion. After weeks of painstaking trial proceedings aimed at uncovering the truth, justice prevailed.
He was announcing that Richard Taylor, 42 years old, of Oakville, has been arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of his mother, Carla Rutherford, and his stepfather, Alan Rutherford. We believe Richard Taylor acted alone, and the murder of his mother and stepfather was financially motivated.
Taylor was convicted of the first-degree murder of his own mother and stepfather, facing the consequences of his actions. The court sentenced him to 25 years behind bars.
Tragic, horrific case. Alan was a hero in jumping out the window and telling everyone who did this.
Without Alan pointing us in the right direction, we may not have been able to do this for the family and get to the proper conclusions.
There is still one remaining question. How does someone even contemplate taking another's life in such a desperate bid to secure their own future? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Dark Minds. Make sure to click the bell icon to receive notifications of our latest videos. Thank you for watching.